Very good morning, students. Um, Today we are going to learn the first lesson. That is the last lesson. Yes, the name of the first lesson is the last lesson, written by Alphonse Daudet. He was a very famous writer, a French writer. Okay, he was a French novelist, and he wrote many short stories. And the last lesson is set in the days. First of all, I just would like to tell you that the setting of this work, it was set in a war, on a war time. Okay, so the setting of this novel is done during war. Okay, and it was Franco-Prussian war. um, Prussia was, it is a part of Germany. Okay, and before, the system was very different. People, if a country was very much powerful, he would easily annex other country and they would rule. Okay, they would do anything to expand their territory, and Germany too did this. And the president at those times was Bismarck, and under his supervision everything happened. Okay, so there was a part of France called Alsace and Lorraine. Okay, just on a map, there'll be, European countries. They are very attached to each other, and Germany, actually, it shared the border of with this France. And Prussia was very much, Prussia was a leading one, and it was successful. It was successful in order to, overpower the place called Alsace and Lorraine. Okay, so the story was set in the during the wartime. So let's move to the first paragraph of the chapter. I started for school here. France is the name of the boy. Okay, and we will see everything from an eye of a small boy. Okay, and after doing this, actually, I'll be saying you the theme of the story. Okay, I started for school very late that morning, and was in great dread of a scolding, especially because M. Hamel was a teacher, had said had questions he would question us on participle. So participle, he would question them on participle. They were going to have a grammar class. Okay, and France, of course, he was not prepared with the grammar lessons. That's why he just wanted to, he forgot it. Okay, and M. Hamel was a very, was a teacher who was, I think, he was very scared of M. Hamel. Okay, and I did not know the first word about them. He was not prepared with the lessons of our participles. For a moment, I thought of running away and spending the day out of doors. I think many of you think that always, isn't it? Moving out of doors when you get ready and go to school. There are many few who really want to come to school and learn. Most of you, I've seen standing out of the gate. They just want to, you know go away and waste their time. Okay, so this also was no different. France was also no different. He wanted to move out, and because the weather also was very good, and he was not actually prepared with the lessons. Okay, so for a moment I thought of running away and spending a day out of doors. Out of doors means spending day outdoors, enjoying. Okay, it was so warm, so bright. The birds were chirping at the edge of the woods, and in the open field back of the sawmill, the Prussia soldiers were drilling. So here, already there was an influence of Prussian soldiers, and that place was France, not Germany. But there was already an influence of Prussian soldiers. They were drilling there. Okay, march kar rahe the. They were marching. It was all much more tempting than the rule of for participles. This person, he did not have, because he was a child, he did not have that much of seriousness, whatever was happening politically. Okay, so he saw that, Prussian soldiers were drilling and birds were chirping. It was a very beautiful moment, and he wanted to bunk. I was it was all much more tempting than the rule of participles. Definitely, grammar, it becomes a bit cumbersome when you are not aware of the rules properly, and he also was not aware. That's why it was very difficult for him to concentrate. He was not ready. But I had the strength to resist and hurried off to school. Okay, but he resisted it. Okay, he resisted means he over, it was not difficult for him to, you know, it was very difficult for him to overcome from the situation that he, okay, he now he will not go anywhere, but what he will do, he will go to school. Okay, so moving on to the next paragraph. When I passed the town hall, there was a crowd in front of the bulletin board. So now let's understand what's a bulletin board. Bulletin board means whatever bad news came for that area or came for Alsace and Lorraine, it was all put up on that board. Okay, it's like a notice board. So bad news means that it was a time of war. Okay, and remember it, Prussian war. Prussia was in Germany, and Hitler was also from Germany. So power and projection of power, annexing a place, these things, and expanding your borders. These things were very important those days. Okay, so battles and all, it was very common. And here all the bad news um, that came always, it came from that bulletin board. Okay, whatever bad was there, it came from that bulletin board. Okay, for the last 2 years of our bad for the last 2 years, all of our bad news had come from there. The lost petals. So what were the bad news? The lost petals, the drafts, the orders of the commanding officers. Okay, so now what were the orders like? From tomorrow this thing will happen, and that command was given by whom? By a person from different country. Okay, so different type of commands by drafts by the commanding officers. And I thought to myself without stopping, what can be the matter now? So he saw that there is a crowd, and the crowd is staring at the board. Okay, at the bulletin board and the news board. Okay, so now he just was crossing the road, and he was thinking that what is happening. I think again some news is there. Okay, so he was again very much he was very much scared, but he did not have time to um, stop and ask or go through the news. Let's turn the page. Okay, so then then as I hurried by as fast as I could, the blacksmith watcher, the name of the blacksmith was Watcher, the blacksmith watcher, who was there with his apprentice. So he was a blacksmith. What is the meaning of blacksmith? You all know, isn't it? Who all mend and those things of iron and all, they are called blacksmith. So the blacksmith watcher was with his apprentice, everything he had with him. Okay, was reading the bulletin board called after me. So blacksmith, he just said him that whom he said France, that don't go fast. Okay, but don't go fast, you'll get to your school in plenty of time. So he said, don't go so fast. You just imagine a person who's probably selling a small petty thing on the road. He will just call you and say that don't go so fast, school is itna jaldi nahi hai, there's plenty of time. So definitely that thing would pinch you, isn't it? Because it's a very unusual thing. Okay. I thought he was making fun of me. Definitely, he thought that he was making the blacksmith was making fun of the boy. Okay, and he just continued and reached M. Hamel's little garden, all out of breath. So he now reached M. Hamel's garden. M. Hamel's garden means the the teacher M. Hamel. He was not only a very good he was not only a very good he was not only a teacher, but he was also interested in what to say, gardening. Okay, so now before getting school, there was a beautiful garden, and the gardening was done by M. Hamel. Okay, so now let's start the next paragraph. Usually, when school began, there was a great hustle bustle which could be heard out on the streets. Normally, when you pass through any school teaching children, they just, there was a great hustle bustle. Hustle bustle means noise, okay? The opening and closing of the desk. And what was the noise of? Opening and closing of the desk. Lessons repeated in unison. Unison means together, okay? So they say their rhymes and all. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, they say together, isn't it? So unison means together, very loud, with our hands over our ears to understand better. And the teacher's great ruler, and the teacher also, in order to control them, they had their great big rulers. Rapping means beating on the table. So the ruler rapping the ruler on the table. But now it was still but now it was also still. I had counted on the commotion to get my desk without being seen. So but now it was also still, but now definitely it was very still. It was not like before. Okay, I had counted on the commotion to get my desk without being seen. But of course that day, everything everything had to be quiet as a Sunday morning. So always he counted on the commotion, means he depended upon the situation that बहुत ज़्यादा commotion होगा, बहुत ज़्यादा भीड़ होता है, बहुत ज़्यादा there is a what to say, hustle and bustle, there is a noise, and between amidst that he was, he would always easily go, means slip in. Okay, उसको ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत हल्ला होगा, and he would easily slip in the class and no one will understand. But that day was very different. Okay, that day everything had to be quiet, but at that day everything was very different. It was a Sunday morning. It was very like a Sunday morning, like Sunday there are no schools, isn't it? So it was very very quiet. And this person, he was Franz, he was not able to understand what was happening. Through the window I saw my classmates already in their places, and through the window um, he saw his classmates. उसके classmates को देखा उन्होंने. He saw the classmates and they were already sitting there, and it was a very scary moment, isn't it? Because you know that you're going to confront your teacher, and there is no hustle and bustle. You cannot slip through the hustle and bustle because the class is very quiet. Normally he depended upon that situation, but now the thing is very different. The class was quiet and it was totally silent, like a Sunday morning. Through the window, he saw that the class is set, everything is okay. And M. Hamel walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. So now M. Hamel, the teacher, he had a very great iron ruler under his arm, and now was moving up and down. He was it was a very scary frame. Okay, he saw it. Okay, I had to open the door and go in before everybody. Before everybody, you can imagine how I blushed and how frightened I was. So he was very scared. Okay, he was scary, very scared. The moment he saw, oh my God, what will happen in front of everyone? What will happen if the teacher will scold me? What will happen? It is very bad to get beaten or to get scolded. Being scolded in front of all the students and all friends. Okay, so he was very scared of it. So he was just hoping for the best, and but he went there. Okay, but nothing happened. He was very scared, but to his utter surprise, nothing happened at all. Okay, M. Hamel saw me and said very kindly, "Go to your place quickly, Franz. We were beginning without you." Okay, so this was really amazing. He said that, "Go to your place. We were beginning without you. हम तो तुम्हारे बिना ही start करने वाले थे. Just go to your place." So this was really very surprising on his part. Okay, on the teacher's part. Um, I jumped over the bench and sat on my desk. Not till then, when I had got little over my fright, did I see that the teacher had on his beautiful green coat. Okay, till this portion we'll be doing today. Okay, so here he was he just overcame, he was just a little over his fright, means थोड़ा सा उसको अपना जो डर है उससे थोड़ा सा वो बाहर निकला. he Then he noticed that, something very unusual he saw. Okay, he saw that his teacher was wearing something he do not wear regularly. Okay, on special occasion you wear certain clothes. Okay, he would wear certain clothes, like on result day, he would wear his beautiful green coat. Okay, so till here we will do. And he was very surprised when he saw that the day was not usual. There was no hustle and bustle, everything was quiet, everything was silent. His teacher was not angry, was not mad at him, and he was wearing special clothes. Okay, okay, thank you. So this much for today, and tomorrow we'll be doing the next, and I will be giving you a DPP regarding this chapter.